I think it was the moment that I realized that Amy was safe to be vulnerable with. That's a big deal in partnership, is that you are safe to be vulnerable, that you trust the other person is not going to walk away or leave, or the fears are that most of us have around relationships, that we're just going to stay in it and work through it.
There are moments where you are fiery, but it's different now, where you own it and you're not so double, like, I'm feeling pretty hot right now. And then, okay, let's go. It's usually not a conflict between us, but we usually talk about it earlier now before it becomes
because I don't have red hair anymore.
Welcome to the Mindful Humanship Podcast with Amy Monea
and Angie Payne. Is it possible that an animal, horses, can lead us to be mindfully human?
Join us as we discuss the wisdom of the horse and the impact they can have on our everyday lives.
Our conversations are guided between the reins of connection and mental health.
Welcome back
to the Mindful Humanship Podcast. I'm Angie Payne.
And I'm Amy Monea.
This is episode 9, because 6 just came out.
Yeah,
7 and 8 are recorded.
8, 9. Well, I was 6 scared of 7.
Why, Amy?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Oh my God.
Anyways, today we're talking about partnerships. So relationships are super important here. Not relationships per se, but relationship. Our connection with people. And oftentimes that's what we end up working on in therapy, supporting clients with, is how do we improve our relationships with other people and also with ourselves. So we spent the last 2 episodes talking a little bit about Angie. Got her story. Angie interviewed me, kind of my story, got to know hopefully a little bit about the 2 of us that you might not have known. And today we want to talk about partnerships, relationships, because they're not for the faint of heart. That's right.
Relationships are probably the biggest thing that people come to therapy about, because relationships are really hard. Any kind of relationship. Amy and I have been in a business partnership relationship for the past 10 years now. And we can't really explain why it works so well, but it has worked well almost from the very beginning. We started out by being offered a contract with schools to offer equine assisted learning, EAL as it's called, which is not really what we do. However, we thought, yeah, sure, why not? Say yes to life, say yes to anything.
Oh, that's when we were our say yes to life.
Say yes to life.
Yeah.
That's right. And so we said yes. And it began kind of our business partnership. Now, we didn't really know each other. And the story is in the book, Mindful Humanship. We didn't really know each other. Well, in fact, we didn't know each other at all, other than we were in the same program together. Mm-hmm. I had gone through it before Amy went through it, but I was still involved and kind of got to know her a little bit, but didn't really know who she was, what she was all about. I didn't know even that she was a therapist. And she came to me for a session. Were you deciding to go through the program at that point? Or were you in the program?
I think I must have been in the program, and I came to process like a fairly specific thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she comes for a session, forgets to tell me that she's a therapist. Thank God she did, because I would have been so nervous. But anyway, that was kind of the extent of our relationship. Mm-hmm. And then where I had my horses at the time, I was hosting a weekend core for the program that we were in. And Amy attended that.
So that's like a 3.5-day weekend intensive where you do your own work, practice your skills, all that kind of stuff. So Gestalt-based, great program. It's in the book.
Yep. And sometime during that weekend, I was in a place where I wasn't sure that I was in the right place to run my business. But really there was no other options. My husband and I were in kind of looking to buy a place so that I could do my work on my own place. We didn't really want to do that because we love where we live, all of that. And so it was a really kind of hard time for me figuring out what I was going to do. Should I close my business down? Should I not do this? Well, if I am going to do it, where am I going to do it? And I don't know, maybe it was a week or so later, maybe longer, I can't remember, but I get this phone call from this young lady, Amy Monea. And she said, "You remember met you at your core, you were posting." Yeah, you might not remember.
I was like in your backyard, your husband made burgers.
Remember your little guy running around, all of that. So I'm like, yeah, I know who you are.
Duh.
And so in Amy's humble way, she's like, "My husband and I just bought this property," and she was pregnant at the time. And so wanted somebody to come and use their facility while she was on mat leave. She was going to pop out a baby and get right back to work, that kind of thing. I'm like,
if you could use it for the couple weeks that I'm like out of commission, great. Then I'll be back at it.
So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come and have a look.
Come have a look, see if you like it, see if it's a fit. Might not be a fit, but
right. And so I came to look, and I had a friend in the car, and we drove over the hill, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. So I had a vision of what my place was going to be like. I had never considered that it might be the place, but it might not belong to me. I'd never considered that. But as I drove over the hill, I'm like, that's it right there. That's it. But I want it to be cool. So
saunters, and like when Angie tries to act really casual, she does this saunter. She leans back and like saunters. Learned that over the last 10 years.
And meanwhile, I'm like, and so Amy showed me around. Oh, I know it's not perfect. And I'm like, it's kind of perfect. But I stayed cool and said, well, let me think about it.
Take your time. Let me know. No pressure. It's totally fine.
One of the difference is Amy takes her time. I usually don't, to make decisions. I'm just like, boom. So anyway, I think it was a day or so later, I phoned Amy and said, so is it okay if I move my horses tomorrow?
She did. And the place, like the farm had not had horses for a year or two here. So like the grass was like so tall, so beautiful. The horses went out, and like you could just see that they were like
they were up to their bellies.
How I'd imagine like the Ogopogo like you just see like the top of the back going through the water.
Because you couldn't see their heads because their heads were just down, munch.
Yeah.
And so I dropped my horses off and proceeded to go on 2 weeks holidays, and asked her if she would make sure my horses didn't die.
And my husband was gone, and I was here by myself, and I'm like, no problem.
You were moving.
Yeah.
You were pregnant. Yeah. It was all new. Right?
And we moved, and like it was just kind of wild. Such great stories. Like gophers were like on top of the deck, running around the house. Like outside the house, they'd moved into there's a hot tub in the back. The gophers were living in the hot tub. They were everywhere. And the gopher got in the house, and it was just like wild. And just make sure the horses don't die. And I'm like, no,
I didn't know any of this until like a couple years later.
No problem. And then, the little boy moved in. Husband was gone, and just, they did great. They were happy.
They were so happy. Came back. Still, I mean, I move in the world very different from Amy. It didn't become apparent until a little bit later that how different we moved in the world. But for some reason, we got along really well, even though we didn't know each other. We didn't see a lot of each other because you were pregnant and all of that.
I was doing better at like having a baby and resting and just taking care of myself and my kids.
Yeah.
Not that there's like a good way to do it or not, but I was doing it at a pace that was kinder to myself. So I wasn't trying to do everything. I wasn't seeing a million clients. I wasn't, cutting the grass and doing all of it. I was like a lot more realistic with my expectations of myself. And I was like, this wild lady from Crossfield, she is fine.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So
we did go through a process, though, around the time we started that school group, which I think was super helpful in terms of a foundation of a business relationship.
Absolutely. And I use a lot of those things now when I do couples therapy or family therapy, anything like that. Some things that became really important were, number one, figuring out our temperaments and where we're different and where we're the same. What our value system is and why that is our value system.
Mm-hmm. And like the things in terms of values, like the ones that feel the most awfully like avoiding.
Things we avoid feeling. Reasons why our number one value is our number one value. All of those things. We went through like needs. If this happens, what do you need from me?
When I get triggered or when like if I start to like kind of check out, then this is likely what's happening.
There's always unfinished business, but where is it? How will I know if it's been triggered? Things like that. And so we told stories to each other about where we got. I remember, one of them always comes back to David, right? But what was the biggest thing that you learned from one of your most important mentors? And why is that important? And why is it important for your new business partner to know that about you? And it was just a really beautiful process. It was, I think, 6 sessions over like 6 weeks, right?
A gal, Sarah Sherman, she's amazing. Runs a big company out of Minnesota.
And she's just wonderful. She did a TED Talk. So if you get a chance to go on TED Talk, look up Sarah Sherman. She did a great talk. And it has really like driven or guided our partnership for the past 10 years. Of course, over the last 10 years, it's evolved. We've gotten to know each other deeper.
There's been some stormy parts, but they're not like long, awful storms. And I think part of that, I would say like the reason they're not is because of that and the commitments we made in that process. It might have even been more like pre-marriage counseling than pre-marriage counseling.
Totally. And like when Amy says stormy parts, the difference between her and I is they were stormy for her. They weren't really particularly stormy for me.
One time, Angie was like, like stormed off, slammed the door, marched away. It was, I forget what she said, but it was.
I need to come back and talk to you later about this.
And what I heard was like, baby, you're an idiot. I hate you. I never want to see you again. That's what I heard. That's not what she said.
That's not what I said.
And then it's kind of like how it happened was actually quite interesting because it was a boundary with a client that stirred us up with a kind of a mutual client or a client who had come, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I walked away. No, she stormed away.
I stormed away.
And I like took some time, took some deep breaths. And I was like, what are my boundaries? Because it's not okay. Like you said some things about me that are not true. And but they were like
you a bitch though.
No, it was like assumptions like you just I forget I don't even remember what the assumptions are because it doesn't matter, but they were assumptions that were not true about like what I was thinking or what my intent was or why I did what I did. And so then it took some time and I was like, I came back and I was like, I think we need to talk about, I'd like to talk about this and sort this out. So that's like a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, we need to talk. And we did, and it was awkward and like difficult. And I think we did come out the other side of that a little stronger and had conversations about boundaries and our assumptions about each other when it comes to, transfer of clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was like, it was really, I was very proud of us and how mature. Well, I maybe wasn't so mature at the beginning. And I own that.
I think you were, but like a lot more fiery. And I think part of that was like your defense, still like defensiveness with each other.
Totally.
Where now I don't need to be like, we need to talk about something. I'm more like, Angie, there's something that's been really bothering me. And she's just like,
what is it, Amy?
Spit it out. Let's go.
Let's talk about this. It was so good. And what I realized from that was that I think that's what people don't do very well in like relationships in general. What do? We don't say anything. We don't say anything. It builds up inside and then pretty soon it's bigger than it needs to be. Right? Mm-hmm. And so that was a huge learning for me that I think it was the moment that I realized that Amy was safe to be vulnerable with. That's a big deal in partnership, is that you are safe to be vulnerable, that you trust the other person is not going to walk away or leave or, whatever the fears are that most of us have around relationships, that we're just going to stay in it and work through it.
You still, like, there are moments where you are fiery, but it's different now where you own it and you're not so double, like, I'm feeling pretty hot right now. And then, okay, let's go. It's usually not a conflict between us, but we usually talk about it earlier now before it becomes
because I don't have red hair anymore.
That's right. Exactly.
When I had red hair, I was fiery.
And she had Harley and she's fiery and she's getting tattoos and dude's basements. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
And, over the years, we've brought Brett into the fold of some of the programming that we do. And I don't know, but it just works. And I think with Brett as well, he and I can be like, oh, yeah, I came in a little hot, apologize. Yep. Okay. Thank you for the apologize. And we move on. It's very easy now. I find, maybe you guys don't find it so easy.
Well, you guys don't hold it. I know I would fester on that if it wasn't like, someone was hot with me and like, what's that about? Or like, I should have said this, should have said that. You guys don't. But you also aren't afraid to tell each other, I don't, like, the way you guys communicate with each other when you're hot is different than something I would feel comfortable with. But you guys just do it without wearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so over the years, it's become this easy relationship between the three of us in particular, because the three of us are here at the ranch together most of the time. Yeah. My husband comes and goes, volunteers here and there. But Brett, Amy, and I work pretty closely together kind of every day, right? So we don't know, but we kind of know. We don't exactly know why it works so seamlessly.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point. Because we can preach our partnership and this is what it should, relationships should feel safe and blah, blah, blah. But there is a big mystery to why it works too. Because we are very different.
Mhm.
Like Angie does stuff that scares me a lot, but we talk about it, and not in like, she's not like lighting stuff on fire and things like that. She has like really brought internalized our values and our fears and our things that are really important here at the farm. So she thinks about those things, and like she's not lighting stuff on fire.
Right.
But like, you're a big risk taker, go for it. Don't think about how or what or like the pieces that need to happen. You just go for it. And that can be very scary for me.
Yep.
But I say that because I don't know why it works. And so like, not every relationship, this is not like the way every business relationship should be, or like, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but there's a lot that we know, and then there's also the mystery of why it works.
Yeah. I would say, like, from my perspective, Amy's very easy to get along with. Like, she's really communicative, which is so helpful. I am not always communicative. Amy's like, she's one that like talks stuff through. Not that she's an extrovert, but she talks stuff through. She is very good at trusting me now, not always, but now. And I think that's a big piece to it as well, is yes, we're very different. We work very differently. I do take more risks with clients than Amy would. And probably at the beginning when we worked together, there were a couple of times where I could see her like, oh God, what's she going to do? Yikes, am I going to have to pick up the pieces after she does this? But she also sat back and trusted that I was not going to like blow anything up, or, like I was going to be careful, even though I was taking a risk. That's a big deal too. And I've always trusted her because there's just nothing to not trust, right?
She's going to be so safe,
right?
So safe. Nothing bad is going to happen. Yeah, I think trust is a big piece. I guess that would be like the part of the mystery, but also like what we know, why it works when you value another person, respect another person, and trust them. And I think trust is a hard one because it really is built over time.
Yep.
In the start, it was just like a prayer, like, I hope this works out. Here we go.
Right.
But now it's like, no, I know because I like to know like theory and like be able to answer the questions. Why did you do that? Well, I was focused on like this, like if this theory is true about, human dynamics or relationships or regulation or trauma, then that's why I did this, because of all these things lining up to this. Where Angie will be like, felt right. But something inside me said we needed to go here, which is like over time, she's taught me to trust my intuition more. And I think that I have helped you understand that you're actually smarter than you give yourself credit for.
100%.
And you know a lot of theory, and and like sometimes I can ask you those questions. Why did you do that? And you're like, oh, it just felt right. I'm like, no, but why did you do it? And you can say you've got a lot actually behind your decisions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that trust over time was built. It's like a bank. You like put a little bit in, like take some risks. Okay, that big fiery thing that I like the potential to take a lot out, but then we like probably built stronger connection. And my husband is really, I avoid conflict, and he does, but there are times where he loves conflict and loves to dive in, mostly in relationships that are really important to him, because what did he say? If the relationship is that important, it's worth getting messy.
Yeah, about something like that.
Or something like that.
I've got it written down somewhere in one of my journals, because he said that. I'm like, boom, absolutely. Like, if you're not willing to get a little dusty, then the relationship isn't really that important to you. I knew a little bit about Brett before I moved here, not a lot, but I was very mindful at the beginning. Well, I still am, but like super mindful at the beginning to make sure that if I move something, I put it back where it was. Like I was very, very mindful about, okay, if I do this, then I got to make sure that I put it back. Or just respecting of Brett's need to know that he could also trust me. So that was important in any way that I could prove to him that I was trustworthy, that I was doing that day after day after day after day. I don't know if he noticed or not. It doesn't matter.
He notices now, and you're like, boss, you didn't shut that gate. Yeah. Why didn't you shut that gate? You're supposed to shut the gate. And he's like, just leave it open. Who cares? And then the cows get out. And I'm like,
yeah, farmer in training, first thing I learned was open a gate, shut the gate behind you. So I do that. Like, it's like
rule number one.
Yeah. And I walk around the farm going, the boss left that gate open. And I go and close it. And it's open again.
And now he does it with the door. He'll come in and be like, you heating up the whole world? Shuts the door. And then you'll come out in the afternoon and the door to his shop's wide open. And sometimes I'm like, I can't.
Yep.
Stays open all night long because he didn't shut the door or he didn't shut the lights off.
But he'll say to me,
cute.
Shut the lights out. You know, it costs money.
Anyways, that's just
off a little bit on a little bit of a tangent.
But that building trust, you told me to do this, so I'm going to try to do this and do it as best I can.
Yeah.
Even if you don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been, for me personally, it's been just the greatest 10 years. Other things that I appreciate about being here in the partnership and the friendship that's evolved over time too, is that I feel like this is home to me, you know? Mm-hmm. I love when Brett's trying to plan where he's going to put stuff and he come here, I need to show you something. What do you think about this? Why? Well, okay, sure. You do whatever you want.
You're always saying it's your farm.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Yeah. So I really appreciate that. People drive up and feel our energy, which is really cool. Not everybody says that, but there are many people that say, wow, I drive up the gate and there's just an energy about this place. Mm-hmm. And the three of us, I think, have worked really hard at making sure that it feels like home, like people can come and feel like they can take a breath and just be. And so that's been important.
Yeah. And I think I've gotten to a place where it's in our own ways. Angie's husband is super good at details and and some things. He's super good at details. Like this. He's like, I'm going to put this backboard here. I'm going to build this back thing here.
Because this used to be a door, right?
Yeah.
A sliding door.
So he does that. Or he built a floor in a stall so that we could use it for storage and does stuff like that. He's has a business and doing garage organizing and stuff like that. So when we got to do a big clean, Angie brings him here.
Because Amy's well, let's not throw that away because I might need it 10 years from now.
Dump? Put this in the dump? Do I put it in the dump? And he just
it's gone.
Throws it on his truck and it's gone. But in ways where we all have our strengths that we bring together. And even things if there's an inquiry about programming and I'm I can't, Angie's really good at that. Mm-hmm. And what we're all very good at. We really use each other's strengths and also support each other when we have vulnerable times or things going on in our lives where we need a little bit of support. And there's a lot of compassion and understanding. So I think partnerships are hard. Relationships are hard.
Yep.
You never want your heart broken. Never get in a relationship with a person, an animal.
Right. Either way, you're going to get your heart broken.
It's the cost of love.
Cost of love.
Grief.
And is it worth it? Yes. 100% yes. To be cared for, to know that you're understood and that even you're loved even though you have an underbelly. It's a big deal, really big deal.
And that sense, I think that sense of home, like that's when you find, that relationships are safe. And sometimes we're not good at that if we've had traumatic experiences in our life. Being able to find that might be like a lifelong search or journey. So,
and sometimes our job as therapists is to it's not simple for the person coming, but to simply allow them to feel safe and at home. And that might last for a really long time before you can even get to the work. Right? So important. There's so much more to say about our partnership, but we could probably do a two-part series on that.
And we have talked about doing like that process we went through, doing like not the same, but like similar based on like what we've learned over time now too. About, where do you go for that pre-relationship or start a relationship or want to build your relationship if it's not like an intimate marriage? Because that's really the only like relationship place you can go, pre-marriage counseling or marriage counseling.
Ours is even better than pre-marriage counseling.
Totally.
Right? Everybody should go through it that's getting into any kind of relationship, as far as I'm concerned. When we say we kind of don't know, that's the part of like mine and Amy's, I don't know, the connection, the unseen connection. There's something there. Maybe we went through another life together. Who knows? But there are also things we've learned that we use every single day to make sure that the relationship stays solid.
This is our episode on partnerships. I don't know that it went where we intended it to go, but this is also kind of the process where we start and build off each other. And here we are. Covered some ground about partnerships. If you have any questions or thoughts about partnerships, we'd love for you to hear from you. If you haven't already, please subscribe if you're finding values in these podcasts. And we are just so grateful you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, couple of weeks, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Mindful Humanship podcast. May the horse always bring you home.